In the mood for a smoked ham, pineapple, and bacon pizza on a drum smoker? Stick around. Welcome back to Heat of the Drum. My name is Steve. It's pizza night here at Heat of the Drum, and I'm excited for this one. Let me tell you, if you've never had a pizza cooked on a drum smoker, you'll be in for a treat with this one, because I tell you what, it elevates it and takes it to the next level for sure. Now, the first thing we got to do is get started on this sauce, because we're making it from scratch. Here we go. So the first thing I got right here is a 14.5 ounce can of fire roasted diced tomatoes. Let's get those in there. Then we're going to come in with a 6 ounce can of tomato paste. And as this starts to bubble a little bit here from the heat, I'm going to come in here with this Emulsion Blender. Now, you could put this in a blender and blend these two together before you put it in the pan. That's fine too. That's just the way I'm doing it today. And it's about to get a little messy. That looks like it'll work for me. Now, as this starts to heat through, let's talk about the spices we're going to need to put in this thing. Let me show you what I got. 1 teaspoon of basil leaves, 1 teaspoon of oregano leaves, ½ teaspoon of parsley flake, ½ teaspoon of crushed red pepper, ½ teaspoon of onion powder, ½ teaspoon of garlic salt, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of ground pepper, and 1 teaspoon of sugar. And I have all that in there. And this is just going to go right in that sauce. So we'll take all them seasonings and just put them right in here. And let's give it a good stir. Once this starts bubbling through, I'm going to reduce the heat and let this go 10-15 minutes. Just kind of simmering away. Let's talk about the pizza dough. Now, the dough I made 2 hours ago, and I suggest you make your own dough. It's so much better. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the ingredients list in the description of this video so you can make the dough and have it just like I made it here tonight. I am going to reduce the heat now. We got to prep one more thing for this ham, pineapple, and bacon pizza we're making tonight, and that's a hot honey sauce to go around the edge of that crust. It's real easy, and let me show you how to do it. First thing you're going to need is 1/3 cup of honey. And then we got some Frank's Red Hot Original going in with 1 teaspoon. And give that a good mix. And I'm double batching tonight. Now, you can get by with just the 1 serving. I've already made 1 serving in here, so I'm adding to that. So if you want to do it like I'm doing it here, just double the ingredients. And just for make things easier later, I'm just putting it in this squirt bottle. And we're good to go on that. So it's been about 12 to 15 minutes on this sauce. It's ready to go. I'm just going to shut it off and put a lid on it and save it for later. Now, next thing we need to do is get this drum fired up. And what I have here tonight is some Cowboy Oak and Hickory blend lump mixed with a little bit of Kingsford. And to that, I'm going to add some cherry chunks. My favorite part of the day. Now our next step is going to be smoking some ham to put on this pizza. And what I have here is just a bone-in ham steak. And this is 1.8 pounds. So we're going to get that out of there and season it up just a little bit with some cracked pepper. And like I said, I'm just going to hit it with a little bit of cracked pepper. Nothing too crazy. And see if I can get this thing to flip over without breaking it apart. Like that. Just like that, my friends. Now let's get this on the drum. Now that ham's fully cooked. So all I'm trying to do is get it in the drum and impart some more smoky flavor from this drum into that ham before we put it on that pizza. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this go for 30 minutes. Let's talk drum smoker temp. Right now we're looking at 275, right around that range. So we're going to give this 30 minutes and then we'll get in there and get our first look at it. All right, it's already been 30 minutes. Let's get the lid off and get our first look at this ham. So what I'm going to do is just rotate this. So it's not quite where I want it, so we're going to give it another 15 minutes. But let's move on and start prepping our pineapple and our bacon. Now, next thing we're going to do is get our pineapple ready. Now this is a 20-ounce can of Pineapple Tidbits in pineapple juice, no sugar added. So we'll just drain that can right in here. Let these start draining. We'll set that off to the side. Now let's work on some bacon. Now this is about 7 or 8 pieces of bacon that I happened to cook up earlier. And we're just going to chop them into probably 3/4 to 1 inch pieces, something like that. And it'll kind of crumble, and you'll have some smaller ones too, but just keep in mind about 3/4 to 1 inch pieces, just like that. And I got a bowl here. We're going to grab these and just put that in there. Got that bacon chopped and our pineapple draining. Just giving it a few more minutes, probably another 7, 8 minutes, and then we'll get a look at that ham again. So we just hit the 45-minute mark on that ham. Let's get the lid off and get our second look at this thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in here. I want to see what the underside of that looks like. And I'm actually going to flip this thing over. and get the lid back on. That ham's coming right along, looking good. But we're going to give it 15 more minutes, and then we'll take it off. I'll see you then. So it looks like we got about 1 more minute before we take that ham out of there. One more thing I'm going to do with this pineapple is I just got a little cookie sheet here with a couple paper towels in there. And I'm actually going to come in here and spread these pineapple tidbits out on that paper towel just to try to get off whatever moisture I can. I don't want them too wet. Just like that. We'll set this right here, and let's get in there and get that ham out of there. And that's looking really good to me. We're going to get this off and let it start cooling down a little bit. Oh yeah. Let that hang out a little bit and we'll get to chopping on that. Now, one thing I got to do is get the pizza stone in there. So we'll grab that and put that in here. And that'll sit just like that. And we're going to go all the way open on our damper. The ham is off, the pizza stone's on, and the damper is wide open. Now we're going to let this heat up for 30 minutes. Then we'll start chopping on this ham and getting that pizza assembled. See you soon. It's been about 25 minutes. This ham's cooled down a little bit. Let's get it cut up, and then we're going to assemble a pizza. And I can probably just get in here and really just probably pull this thing apart. Oh yeah. Actually, let's get in here and get that chopped. Let me sample it. And all we're going to do is just remove any fat and chop these in about 1/2 to 3/4 inch chunks. So I don't want no fat in there, so. And there we go. And here's our pineapple with been sitting on the paper towel all that time. Get this paper towel out of here. And for now, I'm just going to grab this ham and put it on this side right here. That way we can get our crust out and start assembling this pizza. And it's going to be good. All right, and here is our crust. And right now it's on a pizza pan and sitting on some parchment paper. And that's just going to make it easier for me to transfer it from the pan onto the pizza stone. But right now, let's get to fixing this pizza. And the first thing I'm going to do is just come in here and give this some pokes with a fork. This will help that crust cook more evenly and won't bubble up. And I always do this. Now our sauce has been sitting and cooling ever since we made it earlier. And all I've done is stirred it a couple times. So I'm going to get in here and stir it one more time. And you can kind of see how the consistency of that. It's a nice thick sauce. So we're going to get some in here and start spreading it around. And I normally like to take the sauce out to the outer edge. And you can use as much sauce as you would like. A little bit more. This was probably enough sauce that we could have probably done 2 pizzas, but that is okay. That looks really good to me. I'm going to spread that out a little bit more. Yeah, that looks really good. Let's spread that out, depending on how much ham you want on this. And that's looking really good to me. I think that's going to do. So we had about this much left. Now let's get in here with our pineapple and kind of do the same thing. And get those spread out. Oh, that's too many in one spot right there. So get those spread out a little more. And that's looking pretty good. Couple more here and there. And we had some left of that too. Now let's go on with the cheese. And what I have here is 12 ounces of freshly grated mozzarella cheese. Get that all on there. Then we'll kind of work it out and just spread it out. And what I have here is 4 ounces of mild cheddar cheese that I shredded myself. We'll just kind of evenly get this moved out like that. I know I said bacon, but it ain't time yet. Let's get this on and start this thing cooking. First thing I'm going to come in here and do is just add some cornmeal to this pizza stone. That'll help us out a little bit later. And now the trickiest part, my friends. Getting the pizza on the pizza stone. You just take your time and just let it go. Just like that. So I'm going to set this timer for 15 minutes. Then we're going to get in there, get our first look at that pizza, and get it rotated also. See you then. It's been 15 minutes. Let's get the lid off and get our first look at this pizza. Oh yeah. Looking really nice. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just rotate this thing about 1/4 of a turn. Just like that. It's been another 10 minutes, so now it's total cook time of 25 minutes. Let's get the lid off and get our second look at this thing. Looking really good. And I am going to rotate about another 1/4 turn. And now it's time to get this paper out of here. We no longer need it. The crust is set up. And we're just going to take advantage of that pizza being right on that stone now. Let's get it centered. Check this crust. Looking really good. For those people that are curious, we are at 384 degrees and climbing on the drum smoker. So getting up close to that 400-degree mark. Oh yeah. Let's rotate it another 1/4 of a turn. About right there. Time for some bacon. This is looking really good. And we're going to use all that bacon. Right there. Crust is looking really good. I'm going to start adding a little flavor. Remember that honey, hot honey that we made earlier? Just going to add a little bit on there. Just a little bit. Woo-wee, that's hot. Work fast. Just a little bit. Just like that. Lid on. Total cook time, 45 minutes. This is ready to come off. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Look at that. This is coming off. And we're just going to come in here and hit this with a little bit more of this hot honey. Just like that. Now we're going to let this rest 10 minutes. This is another evening where I wish I had smell-o-vision, because you could smell this right now. It smells so good. Now there's only one thing left to do, is get a piece of this and give it a try. Ooh, wee, is that hot. Oh, man. Ooh, wee. That is super hot, and ooh, ow, wow, is that hot. And it's going to be good. Look at that bacon. I don't mind a few burned fingers for some really good pizza. And look at that crust. And man, this thing is hot. Woo! Look at that, man. That is nice and hearty. The crust holds up. Oh, man. That drum smoker puts so much flavor into these pizzas. And like I said, it elevates them, makes them more of a gourmet item. You make one of these on a drum smoker, you'll never want to do one in an oven again. Remember, you can do this too until I see you the next time on Heat of the Drum.